Em 10 anos, o 15, restaurante cozy acantonado numa rua entre as demais da capital britânica, distingue-o o homem por detrás do espaço. James Trevor Oliver ainda não se vê, mas tudo o que por aqui passa pelo mediático chefe de 37 anos. Simplicidade é a palavra de ordem às ordens de uma jovialidade já premiada com o título de membro do Império Britânico. A conversa acontece ao sabor de uma revelação.
I think like a woman, to be honest, because I think it's very hard for men men are much more focused about, they can't help it, they're much more pretentious, they're much more competitive. You know, I think like all the people that have really inspired me have been women, and there was one guy, but he's quite gay, so you know, mainly women.
Pôr tudo em pratos limpos é uma característica do extrovertido patrão de um pequeno grande império que transformou em marca o nome de Jamie Oliver. E, no entanto, o princípio de tudo foi tudo menos grandioso.
I'd always grown up in my father's restaurant, and he still works in the restaurant today, you know, and it was a proper restaurant, making everything from scratch, local food, and always kind of sort of English, slightly French, but also would always try new foods from different countries. So I grew up around that, and it was really, really exciting. And so, you know, I'd go to school and be like a really rubbish student, and then I'd come back at the weekend and I'd work, and people used to give me pocket money and pat me on the back and say, well done.
Cuidadosamente despretensioso, tranquilo consigo mesmo, os traços da personalidade de Jamie Oliver transferem-se para o domínio que dia a dia constrói e mantém a fama do empresário e do mentor. Poucos saberão que a cozinha do 15 alberga profissionais, no mínimo, inesperados.
You go and find young people that are lost, often from prison, homeless or just very lost in life in general. And you train them hard, and you work them hard, and you make them tired, so tired that they can't go back home and be a nuisance. And then after a year, they're in a different place. And most of our students that graduate go on to great things.
A revelação não altera em nada o serviço, os que o preparam, os que o consomem. Afinal de contas, keep it simple é muito mais que um conceito. É, efetivamente, uma forma de estar na vida.
I just wanted to be a young guy, have fun and cook some decent food. You know, it wasn't about restaurant food, but it was about beautiful ingredients. It was about easy, fast food, food that I could cook at the same time as talking to my friends and family and having a laugh. So to start off with, it was just about fun. But I think as the years went on, and I think when you write cookbooks for a living, it's really weird. It's kind of like cookbooks is like, you can sell one cookbook, that's fine, you know, and it could be luck, you know. I think when you've done 4 or 5 books and the people keep buying it, it's more of a relationship, you know, they start to trust you. I never try and categorize what it is that I do or what it is that I am. I'm certainly never looking for the Michelin guide or other chefs to say, oh, well done, Jamie, you know, you're great. You know, because I just don't care. I don't care about any of them.
Dos pensamentos aos condimentos vai a curta distância de uma curta pergunta. O que é para Jamie Oliver boa comida?
My definition of good food is just something that makes you feel happy and that feels like you've had a big hug. And it could be as simple as a piece of ham and great cheese and a sip of beer or red wine. It could be as simple as that. It could be a piece of cheese with just honey on it. The reality is you can take quite average ingredients, you can even take some rubbish ingredients, and there are certain recipes that can make them taste quite good. And that's basically where most of the fast food industry, you know, fast food industry doesn't become massive because it tastes like crap. I mean, some of it tastes really good, it's just not very good for you.
Nem todos pensarão da mesma maneira, mas para quem se sente, para quem está confortável com o que faz, a concorrência não existe mesmo quando existe uma vasta nomenclatura de Nigellas, Anthony Bourdains ou Gordon Ramsays, na mesma área de intervenção.
You give me the long list and I just think, what have we done? What have we done to lovely Portugal? They really don't need to learn from us. They know how to cook already. I think globalization is the question that you said, and I think it's a funny time right now, you know, whether it's technology, travel, or your local supermarket having ingredients from countries all around the world. You know, as young people, young Portuguese kids leave school not knowing how to cook, as they become young parents, not knowing how to cook, you know, all the things great about Portuguese cooking start to slowly die. And, you know, and that's the same in England, and it's the same actually in every country around the world.
E eis que, global, como os que o são, o chefe Oliver edita mais um livro de cozinha que, comparativamente ao anterior, encurta em 15 minutos o tempo que diz ser necessário para confeccionar uma receita glamourosa e nutritiva.
It's probably the hardest book I've ever written. So, speed, nutrition and good flavours was very, very hard to do. But when I think, you know, coming from a chef, you know, most of the kitchen happens in a pan or on a grill. A lot of Portuguese cooking happens in a pan and on a grill. And, you know, how long does mussels take? How long does a little medallion of pork take? 3 minutes, 4 minutes in a hot pan. So actually a lot of cooking, or many parts of cooking, take very little time at all. What they need is attitude, you know, to sort of say, right, we're going to make a kick-ass salad over here, we're going to make a salad there, and we're going to cook some really nice, we're just going to get some little pork, we're going to stuff a piece of sage in and put a little ham over the top and make it crispy and golden.
E se o aspecto é tudo, o gesto não lhe fica atrás. Basta seguir a par e passo as indicações para um sucesso ao alcance dos que até agora apenas sonharam com ele.
Don't buy the book. In the book, I'm not trying to be your best friend. I don't even want to be your friend, okay? In the book, you do what I say, and if you do what I say, it works. Like, if you can't cook and you follow the recipe, it will work. But for a lot of people that really can cook, they naturally, especially men, they naturally start making it up as they go along, and then I don't know where it's going to go. So what I'm trying to say is, when I say put the kettle on, put the kettle on. When I say put the pan on, put the pan on. But yeah, I think because of that, it's a perfect book for beginner cooks.
Em final de conversa, a inevitável referência a Portugal. Para o fazer, Jamie Oliver recorre à história da gastronomia e do mundo.
There's probably more answers in the history of food than there is in the history of anything. You know, food is history, and my God, you know, the Portuguese history on food and the history of their travels around the world and the countries that they've, you know, taken over or worked in. I mean, the Portuguese influence in cooking around the world is massive, massive. And if you start to digest it, it's history.
Fim de história, fim de conversa. O 15, a sua gente e a sua tutela hão de continuar, dia após dia, apostados em promover a comida e os seus derivados. Quem disse que lucro e nutrição não podem andar de mãos dadas?